Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the WT Coaches Show. I'm your host, Zach Barnes, and kicking things off for us this week is head coach for men's basketball, Tom Brown. Coach, first off, congratulations on the win against Eastern New Mexico, a big 97-64 win. Both David Chalovic and Jordan Evans had really big games on there.
Yeah, everybody played pretty well in that game, and it was a good team win. Jumped on them early and kind of extended it in the second half a little bit. So it was fun to get that win. It was a great crowd at the First United Bank Center. I mean, it was loud, and it was a lot of fun for our guys to play in front of that atmosphere.
Up next for you guys is up on Wednesday. Angelo State's coming to town. The last time you guys meet, they ended up winning that one. And kind of talk about how this one's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it was an important game for us down there, and we let it slip through our fingers. We were up by 10 at halftime, and then they beat us by 20 in the second half to win the game by 10. And so it was back and forth. They've got some great spurt ability. They've got some talented players. They can really get out and run, and very, very good basketball team. And they've won a lot of close games as of late. And that's a true sign of a winning team, is be able to win some games maybe you're not supposed to. They just beat Kingsville on a last-second shot, and so they're a very talented team, well coached, and it's a big game for us on Wednesday, and hopefully we can come back and get that one. We've kind of been battling this year too with a little injury bug with Carl White has been out all year. Antonio Ferreira has been out now since Christmas. When he went home, he got hurt over break. Eric Mosley, he's redshirting this year, but he got hurt in practice, and so it really kind of hurts your numbers-wise. We only have 10, 11 guys to practice against, but our guys have been doing a great job with that, and it's something you got to fight through those injuries, and the next guy's stepping up.
And also coming up this week is on Saturday, you guys will hit the road to take on Texas A&M Kingsville, which you're saying is pretty tough, especially going on the road.
Yeah, Kingsville is, they've played Tarleton tough, they've played Angelo tough, they've played a lot of teams very well, and they just can't get over that hump, and they will. They're going to beat some teams, and going down there, it's a long trip. It's the longest trip in the LSC for us, so our guys, we've been fortunate to be at home here the last few games, and that'll be really tough going out on the road and trying to get a W down there because they run a ball screen offense, same as kind of Tarleton runs it, Eastern runs it, and so it creates some mismatches, and it's tough to defend, but hopefully we can jump on them a little bit. We jumped on them last year. We were up 18-0 down there. I don't think that's going to happen again, but it'd be great if we could do that again.
Well, we're going to just really quick and kind of go back to a comment you had just said, about guys coming and stepping up as they go dealing with injuries. Yeah. Ryan Quaid has really started to seem to really come to his own.
Yeah, Ryan, is a freshman for us, and he's a true freshman. And so, it takes a little bit of time, and I think he's getting comfortable now. Hopefully he doesn't get too comfortable. We want him to keep excelling and getting better and better and better. And I think our other guys have given him some confidence by giving him the ball down low, and he's very talented in the post. He's actually very good outside. Sometimes he's just a little bit unsure of himself. Once he gets that even a little bit more confidence, I think he's going to be a heck of a player. But we're lucky to have him, and it's someone that gives us a scoring threat inside besides Jeff. And Jordan Evans actually is a pretty good scoring threat for us inside as well, inside, outside. So we do have some options, but Ryan really gives us a good the next 3 years with him inside, it's going to be pretty nice to have.
Coach, I'd like to thank you for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thanks a lot, Zach. Appreciate it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the WT Coaches Show. Up next for us is women's basketball head coach Kristen Mattio. Coach, first off, congratulations on a 67-45 win over Eastern New Mexico. Just kind of talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, that was a good game for us. I thought we just started out the gates really quick from offensively. Defensively, really aggressive, and just kind of setting the tone and dictating the game from there on out. But the first two quarters, I would say, were really solid for us. Just getting that early lead, and then just giving us a chance to sustain it for the rest of the game.
And upcoming next for you guys, on Wednesday night, take on Angelo State, a team that you lost to the first time you played. What are some things you're looking to do a little bit different?
Well, Angelo State is a solid team, and it was a good game against them at their place, and we're going to be ready. And I can't imagine that we're not going to have a great crowd for that game. But it's a game that we learned from our first time around, and I definitely think it's an opportunity for us to get better. But it's going to be, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great game, great opportunity for us.
And one of the big things with that game last time was the turnover margin was, absolutely crazy. And it seems like you guys have taken a lot more control over that.
Yeah, obviously you want to give yourself a chance in any ball game by not turning the basketball over. But it's executing on the offensive end. It's defensively, understanding the game plan and what we're trying to do. And I think we'll be ready to battle on Wednesday.
And then also on Saturday, you guys will hit the road and take on Texas A&M Kingsville, who you beat in the first meeting. This time you're going down to Kingsville. What's going to be different for this one?
Yeah, Kingsville, that's a long road trip for us. And that's always a tough place to play. And again, they have a lot of new faces this year. They're solid. They have some kids that can score. So we'll have to definitely be prepared for that road trip as well.
Coach, I'd like to thank you for joining us this week, and good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the WT Coaches Show. Up next for us is head softball coach Kevin Blaskowski. Coach, how are you?
Doing well.
Well, Coach, after the past 3 weeks or so of practices, who's been looking good so far?
Well, obviously we've had some big graduations over the last couple of years, and we've had to have some returners step up. And, Lacey Taylor and Brittany Gale are 4-year starters for us, and they've looked really solid the first 3 weeks. They're ready to have big senior years. Stacy Ramirez is also, a very talented returner. Allie Smith is coming off of an ACL injury, so she's getting back into it slowly. But we're really excited about our returners, and they're doing a really good job for us right now. Ashley Harden is healthy and doing a great job, but really good to see some of our young players. Shay Ibram is a transfer from College of Southern Idaho, and she'll play third, and we're excited about what she'll bring. Brittany Cruz has some big shoes to fill. She's filling in for Renee Irwin, and obviously we all know what Renee's done, but Brittany's very talented, and I think will be ready to go in right. Shani Starkey may be at first base, or she may be in left field. So, we've had some very good workouts as of late, and it's time to get out and get after it.
And the first thing that you guys have coming up is the Dixie State Invitational. You guys get Fort Lewis twice, Colorado State Pueblo, number 2 Dixie State, and number 13 Humboldt. And so, how does that weekend look?
Well, it's good that we get the 3 in-region games with Fort Lewis twice and Colorado State Pueblo. So that's good early competition for us in region. But on Saturday we have 2 big games. Dixie State's number 2, and they got beat in the national championship game last year, and we've had some great games with them over the last couple of years. The game with Humboldt will be the first time we play Humboldt, and year in and year out they're one of the top teams in their conference and off the West Coast. So Saturday will be a big day. We need to play well Friday, kind of establish ourselves, get comfortable, and then come out and really be ready to go on Saturday. So should be a good tournament.
Well, Coach, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and good luck this weekend.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the WT Coaches Show. Up next for us is the baseball head coach, Matt Vanderburg. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Well, Coach, after about 2-3 weeks of practices and whatnot, how's the team really looking so far?
I like our group. Right now, we've got a lot of senior leadership. They've worked hard this preseason. I think we've been going for about 4 weeks now. So we need to get out. We've seen each other enough. We need to get out and see somebody else.
And speaking of seeing somebody else, you guys will kick off the season this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Kick off Friday with Colorado Mines, as well as Saturday St. Edwards, and then Southwestern Oklahoma State on Sunday. How does this weekend look?
It's a tough weekend. We're going to be tested this weekend. We've got a really good Colorado School of Mines team on Friday. They bring in the RMAC preseason player of the year. They return a couple of their top arms from last year. And then obviously on Saturday, we've got St. Edwards. St. Edwards is a top 10 team in the country. We faced them in the regional tournament. Game 1 last year, was able to win that game 5-0. So I'm sure they'll be ready to go for us. That's going to be a tough test. And then, can't look past Southwestern Oklahoma. They're always a really good team. Coach Saunders there at Southwestern does an outstanding job with them. They play the game the right way. So 3 really tough games. We're looking forward to it.
And for you guys, you kind of talked about pitching in a little bit. You got Brooks Trujillo coming back with some preseason accolades. And who else can we see stepping up?
Yeah, Brooks Trujillo is one of our returners. He was co-pitcher of the year preseason-wise. Had a really good year for us last year, and he's actually, I feel like he's better than what he was last year, throwing more strikes, working down in the zone a little bit better. But we've got a handful of really good arms this year. We'll have 12 guys. Some guys you may see in the rotation the first weekend. Austin Moore, transfer from University of Houston, extremely talented guy, high velocity guy, throws a lot of strikes, does a great job. He's going to be able to keep us in any ball game. And then Nolan Savage, another guy, Division I transfer from University of Texas San Antonio, has done an outstanding job this year. He's got electric stuff. He's as good as anybody on our staff. And then you also have guys like Justin Mcallister, who was our number 3 last year, who's just coming back from an injury, so he'll be kind of out of the bullpen this weekend, but done an outstanding job as well. And then Kyle Tenius is back from an injury last season and really stepped up, showed some senior leadership this year. We expect big things from him as well.
And then finally, just through these preseason stuff, what are some of the young guys that we can potentially see?
We have a lot of young guys as well. Dom Yeargo is one of those guys. He's an arm. He redshirted for us last year, so he's a redshirt freshman. He'll get some innings. It's one of those things we'll have to find times to get him in right now because we're so senior heavy on the mound. But he's an extremely talented young man. And then offensively, you look around. We've got a lot of age offensively as well. I mean, we have 13 seniors and probably 10 or 11 juniors. Behind the plate, we've got 2 juniors, actually 3 juniors. We've got Troy Labrie, John Biata, and James Cordova, all 3 really talented catchers, and that was a spot that we were really worried about because we lost 2 really good catchers last year with Justin Hargrove and Jacob Caples, and those guys have came in, and we're not losing a bunch. I mean, obviously it's hard to replace the guys we lost last year, but those guys have done an outstanding job. And then kind of going around at first base, we've got a handful of guys that are kind of still battling for that starting spot. Hunter Henderson's swung it really well. Jace Reese has came back this semester and been one of our top hitters. So it's excited to see what those guys are capable of. And then you got, some more younger guys, some freshmen and stuff, Blake Weaver, Christian Loya, all those guys are really stepping up. And maybe a little bit, a week or 2 before they start getting into the lineup every day. But once they do, I think they're extremely talented and have a chance to really help us out as the year goes on.
Coach, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you for having me.
Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's edition of the WT Coaches Show. Up next for us is track and field head coach Darren Flowers. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm good. Back in action now.
Coach, it's been a good chunk of time since we've seen you last, and since then you've had a couple different meets for track and field. Most recent one was in Pittsburgh State. Just kind of talk about that in a little bit.
It was a big Division II meet. That's where the national championship will be held for indoors, so I thought it was important for our kids to go down there and kind of get a look at the facility, get a feel for it, like how to warm up in the facility. I think that's always an important thing too, and just so they could see it and kind of visualize what they're going to have to see here in 5 or 6 weeks.
And at that Pittsburgh State, you had a couple record-breaking performances on both sides. How was that?
I've been telling people I was really impressed with our freshmen. We had a few freshman girls step up, 3 in particular, and with Kaylee Barnard in the vaults, Norma Cunningham in the shot put, and Victoria Roush in the hurdles. They were particularly good, and they're already setting freshman records. And with us being, we have a few seniors, we have some juniors and seniors, and they'll be kind of moving out. And moving on their way to do big things in the real world here pretty soon. So it's good to see some freshmen step up, and it looks like we've done a good job recruiting, and hopefully when they move out, those girls can step right in and kind of take things over.
And then the next thing coming up for y'all, you head up to Colorado to Adams State for the Grizzly Buffalo Clash. How far are you looking at that one?
This is one that I've looked at on the calendar all year and been really excited about. Adams State's one of the premier Division II programs in the nation, and for us to be able to go head to head with them is going to be a really big measuring stick for us to see where our team sits. They're strong in some events, we're strong in other events, and it'll be kind of nice to see how things mix up, and we're going to score the meet, so it's going to be like us versus Adams State, and at the end of the day, we'll know who has the more well-rounded track team, I guess.
And so far, you kind of just have been talking about the women's side of things. What are some guys that we can look forward to on the men's side?
Well, finally, you're going to see Daniel Giassi this week. He's a 400-meter runner, and he was heavily recruited by a lot of Division I's and Division II's, and he's now eligible, so he's going to make his debut this week. I'd say another one to look for is a JUCO transfer that we have, Todd Hanley. He's had a couple good weeks in the 60, and we're trying to kind of develop him in the 60 and the 200. And so he's only been running for a year, so he's kind of getting a handle on things, but he's doing real well. And another female that will be competing this week that no one's seen would be Relly Caputin. Mm-hmm. She's from Papua New Guinea, and she does all the jumps: high jump, long jump, triple. And she's going to make her debut this week, and so we're excited to finally get a full team out there and do it at Adams State, which is really exciting, and we'll really get a feel for what our team looks like.
Coach, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks a lot.
Folks, and thank you for joining us this week on the WT Coaches Show. For the WT Sports Network, I'm Zach Barnes, and we'll see you next week.